Well, hello, and how are you doing? I hope that you're doing well. I hope that wherever you happen to be in this world, that you're feeling good and you're feeling happy, and that the spirit of the season, whether you celebrate the Yuletide or not, I hope the spirit of the season has you feeling good about yourself. Sorry, I need to just zip up a little bit there. So, just give me a second here. I do what they. So I'm not gonna. I don't want to advertise the product. They don't pay me. So that being said, I do like the product. It does rehydrate quite well. I'd be lying if I said otherwise. But since they're not paying me to consume the product, I see no reason for me to, advertise for it or give them a free plug. Not that I have a large platform or anything, but get paid. If you're gonna push a product, you should get paid for it. So I'm not pushing the product. Get paid for it or promote something that is 1 second. Something developed by a neighboring local business or friends who own it or something to that degree. Anyway, that's where I'm getting at. So I am sorry. I've got somebody messaging me. Why? What's this? Sorry, I have a friend asking me a question. I'm just going to respond quickly because they're tied up. Apologies. Real time, that's the thing. When doing something live, when you get a message from somebody who urgently needs a response, you should do the appropriate thing and respond urgently. At least that's what I'm trying to do. Why does my mic stand keep dropping for some reason? I'm just having some issues here with. Well, I have lots of issues. Who's getting who? I have more issues than I care to mention. But at the moment, I just can't seem to get this mic set up correctly. There. Is that? That should be better. There we go. Slightly frustrated. Not overly frustrated, just minorly frustrated. It's worked from home today. And it wasn't a crazy busy day, but it wasn't a quiet day either, if that makes any sense for those of you who sometimes work from home like I do. It was busy enough. I just lost a feed there. I don't know what just happened. It was busy enough that I got something crashing on my computer. Wonderful. Just what you want. It was busy enough today that I was occupied. And when I took a break earlier, the idea was to just, maybe relax for a little bit. I took a 30-minute lunch break, and I was going to, the plan, anyway, was to take a nap. Just relax, take a nap. And that didn't really happen. Because I was getting multiple messages. I had multiple overlapping meetings, which is never really a fun thing. Not that I'm complaining. Don't get me wrong. I'm not complaining at all. Actually, it was a Monday that was a little out of sorts. And as a result, I'm a little scronkly, which is a word my beloved created one day. And she looked at me and said, "Is my hair scronkly?" And I went, What does that mean, scronkly? I don't understand scronkly." But I've now adopted it. And scronkly means messed up, confused, disheveled. It's a new term in the English language. We're trying to make it happen, and I think it might just. And it has nothing to do with me, but I am very scronkly today. A little bit tired. Saturday evening, Saturday afternoon, we did for those of who are aware, hey Stephen, hey Elaine, for those who are aware, we do on my the other podcast I produce and contribute to. It's a political show, which has their worlds apart from this one. And on that political show, once a month we do a gathering at a pub, and we have what we call the pubcast, where we sit there and just talk and share stories about traveling the world, and people join in the chat, and every now and then we'll have a remote video guest. We have a few guests that'll show up in the pub and jump in on camera and mic them up, and yeah, we try and have as much fun with it as possible. So it was a 5-hour show, so I got there at noon, and we went live at 1, and I tore down at 6, just in time for the reservation to show up for 7. Got home, quickly washed up, and then went to a Christmas party. That was a lot of fun with some good friends, some dear friends, friends that I see frequently, but not as frequently as we used to, because lives are busy, and the pandemic thing changed stuff, and we all changed as a result of it. Oh, thanks, Andrew. I'm glad you enjoyed it. We had a lot of fun on Saturday. So, and then after that, we went to another party next to Bridget's neighbors, not just a couple doors down from where she lives, and that was also a very fun party. But at one point, she looks at me and she goes, "I think we should leave." I go, "Oh, why?" She goes, "It's 2 a.m. Oh, we should leave. We really should leave." I haven't been up that late in months. And I think the last time I stayed up that late was due to insomnia. So 2 a.m. on a Saturday evening at a Christmas party, don't get me wrong, we had a blast. It was so much fun. We had such a great evening. But Sunday I was physically exhausted, and my back was killing me. So yesterday wasn't as much fun as it normally would be. Was it 5.5 hours, Elaine? See, I knew it was around 5 hours. I wasn't sure quite of the full extent, but look at that, 5.5 hour show we did on Saturday. It was a lot of fun. And if as I've said time and time again on this show is about mental health. It's about this thing I do on this channel it's about discussing our mental health. And it's meant to be done in a calm and soothing manner, which is the whole ASMR thing. And I have said time and time again, and I mean this, and I will say it again for those of you who might not be aware, but every single person on planet Earth that needs a place to come to when they're feeling like they're having a difficult mental health day is welcome to come here. Provided, 2 things. Provided you check your politics at the door, and you come in here with an open mind and want to be part of a community that wants to help each other. Those are the only 2 requirements. Leave your politics, whatever your belief system is, leave that at the door. You come into this space because you're having a mental health issue, a crisis. Maybe you're having an anxiety attack. None of that matters to me, what the specifics of it are, for you to come here. When you're here, we talk about how we're feeling, what we're feeling, how we can help each other out. And at this crazy time of the year, or the silly season, as I like to call it, one second, because it is a silly time of the year when stress can be high, anxiety can be high. Some people feel severe depression at this time of the year because maybe they have terrible memories of this season. And I'm lucky enough to say I love this time of year, despite the fact that there's some trauma that I have from my childhood. Every year, I used to get very, very sick right around Christmas. And for whatever reason, I don't know, but I spent a lot of Christmas Eve and Christmas Day in the hospital as a young child. And oftentimes, although not lately, in the last number of years, I would have to honestly say, but oftentimes those emotions would creep back in. The sheer thoughts and feelings of terror as, you're 4 or 5 years old and you're rushed to the hospital by your parents because you're running an insanely high fever or something to that effect. And you end up having to spend, Christmas Eve and Christmas Day in the hospital. And that's never fun as a child, and it's terrifying as a child. And it's not like children's hospitals today. And by the way, I was never in a children's hospital back then because it was the early 70s. And children's hospitals were not a big thing at the time, number one. And number two, I lived on a military base in northern Alberta. Well, Cold Lake is not super northern Alberta, but it's north enough. And anyway, you would be sharing a room with whomever else happened to be in the medical center, the hospital, on the base. It's not child-friendly, to say the least. It was cold and utilitarian. There were no playrooms. There might have been highlights books, but at 5, I didn't care about that. So there's a lot of emotional trauma from those days that I still carry with me, but I would like to say, and I want to reassure you that I'm well over it. I've dealt with it, and it's well in my past. But the thing about trauma is it leaves a scar. And the scars are permanent. They never go away. But in time, the scars do fade. So the pain that you felt from the cause of that scar is no longer there. So for me, Christmas is a joyful, happy time. I celebrate Christmas. Maybe not the way some people would like me to celebrate it, but for me, it's about getting together with friends and family and just talking about joyful, happy times. Maybe that's not suitable for some people, but again, here we check our religion, our beliefs, our politics at the door, and talk about how we're feeling. Now, I do realize that sometimes one's religious beliefs can be contradictory to one's mental health. We're not going to dive into this because that's not a thing for me. But I do realize that some people, unquestionably, do have those, is the term issues? I don't even know what term to use there. Complications? Maybe complications is a better term. And to be honest, I don't know exactly how I can address that other than I hope if you come here because you're struggling, you find some peace. I hope that. That's my purpose, is to bring you some peace, some relaxation, some calming, soothing words. One of my neighbors is smoking a buttload of cannabis, and I can smell it coming through the vents, and I do not like it because I'm allergic to it. So I may have to cut out early because, yeah, that could be interesting. It's really strong, though. Oh, my goodness. I might have to talk to my landlord about resealing some vents because I'm not supposed to get that. And as I said, I'm very allergic to it. As a matter of fact, when they were renovating the apartment next door, the individuals who did the work, they did while renovating getting it ready for a new tenant, because the woman who had lived there before had been there for 50 years. So it needed, paint, patching, sanding, new Varathane on the floors. The Varathane was really strong. It lingered in my apartment for days. But the thing that bothered me the most was the fact that the contractors that were in doing the work would light one cigarette after another, and I had to leave my apartment because I was getting sick from it. I'm very, very allergic to it. I can't be in the vicinity of it, and to be honest with you right now, I think I'm going to have to cut this short. I'm sorry. I'm kind of off topic. And I wanted to give you a good 30, 45 minutes today, but it's a little overpowering for me. And it will cause me to break out in hives and give me an extreme headache and some nausea. And I don't want to take part in any of that, quite frankly. I can't be around it. I'm severely allergic to it. And right now there's a vent just on the other side of this insulated panel I have, and I'm going to have to figure out a way to prevent that from happening in the future, because I don't want to have to sit in my own dwelling and be subjected to something that I don't want. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry, but I have to cut this short. I'm sorry about this. It's really getting to me. I hope that everybody that has tuned in this evening has found something from this that could help them. If you're a little bit relaxed, I will switch to the whisper, because I understand that people like the whisper, and I'm currently beginning to feel the burning in my lungs and my throat from the smoke that is coming through the vent from my next door neighbor, who is burning about a pound of cannabis, which is completely legal in this country, and they are welcome to do so. Except here's the funny thing. When they signed their lease, it's a non-smoking building. They signed their lease. It's in the lease, and they can make a building non-smoking because the ventilation here isn't the best. So I might have to have a talk with my landlord tomorrow, because sorry. You want to smoke your weed, you're free to do it. It's a free country, but you're not supposed to do it in the building. Especially when it affects the health of your other tenants. So this went from being a chat about mental health to my physical health, and I don't like to do that, but it was necessary. So I am going to take my leave. I hope you're doing well. I have to address this tomorrow. And between now and then, I'm going to go to my bedroom, close my door, and hopefully it won't get to me too much. So, because this was a roadblock, or a bump in the road that I was not planning for, obviously, who plans for something like this, I will have to give you another show before this week is through, because I feel I owe it to you. and this really threw me off track, and I did not want to do that. So, my friends, I hope that you are well. I hope that you're feeling as good as you possibly can. And remember, if you're feeling bad, smile and laugh. You're tricking your own brain into thinking, like literally you're tricking your own brain chemicals. Brain chemicals recognize laughter. Whether it's real or unreal, they don't know, as if they have a thought process. But your brain will trick itself. So if you laugh, even when it's fake, the physical response is identical to the real thing. It will release serotonin, it will be accepted, and you will feel better. Trust me, it's the truth. I do have to go, and I will see you soon. I promise you. Take care.